Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the DC Collectibles Batman The Adventures Continue Super Armored Batman figure. Now, The Adventures Continue is a current comic series and it's a continuation of Batman the Animated Series. It's supposed to be canon in the Bruce Timm universe. So this is Batman donning the Dark Knight Returns type of armored suit. It looks huge, the figure's heavy, I like it a lot. So let's check out the packaging here. The background, we've got an orange background with an animated Batman here. Here's the armored Batman in the package. Got his unmasked head, his helmeted head, I'm guessing a kryptonite Batarang. Looks like a blast effect and a blaster. Batman, The Adventures Continue. He's the 55th figure in the line. Super Armor Batman. The bottom, not much going on. At the side, just more of the same information. And then on the back, got the big orange animated Batman. There's a barcode and some credits in case that helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman and related action figure collection. And this guy was part of a huge lot of figures I got in the mail. Huge haul today. Just look at all that awesomeness. The place I pre-ordered most of these DC Collectibles figures from ended up falling through, so I tracked them down, and what are the odds they all came the same day? Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with 3 alternate hands, totaling 5 interchangeable hands. He's got an alternate unmasked Bruce Wayne head and a neck piece to attach with that. He's got a green Batarang. Then he has this sort of sonic disruptor, a straight up replica out of the Dark Knight Returns comic, and he has a blast effect to come out of his hand. But before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So this is a huge, bulky, oversized armored Batman, and I'm a sucker for large deluxe figures. He looks angry in his face, mouth sort of curled, got that animated series style to it, looking really nice, big, bulky armored suit, looks like the suit from the Dark Knight Returns, done in the animated universe style. Some green on his knuckles here. I would say they're kryptonite knuckles, but I'm pretty sure he fought Lex Luthor in his armored suit, in the Batman armored suit, not Superman. He's got his yellow utility belt, looks like single jointed elbows, single jointed knees. He's got those sort of cleated boots from the Dark Knight Returns. He's got a cloth cape back here, looking fantastic so far. Like I said, I'm a huge sucker for deluxe figures, and this guy looks great. And here he is, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's look at his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. Here's his first pair of hands. These are his fists. He has an alternate left hand here that's also in fist form, but it has a hole in it so he can hold his Batarang. And then his other pair of hands. His right hand is a large gripping hand, probably going to be able to hold his disruptor. And then his left hand is pretty much open, sort of flat, and it has a hole in it for the blast accessory, sort of Iron Man-ish. Now let's look at his heads. One has the Batman armor on it, and one is the unmasked Bruce Wayne head. Pretty nice detail, definitely screams Bruce Timm's Batman the Animated Series. Got that square jaw, and then you have an alternate neck piece back there for when you use the unmasked head. Here's his first head with the Batman armor on, and here's his alternate unmasked Bruce Wayne head. I will say, I think this thing looks fantastic, and you can see further inside there, he's got his flesh-colored neck, so it looks proper. He also has gray hair on the side, as this is an older Bruce Wayne. Now let's look at his sonic disruptor. I must confess, I'm not 100% sure if that's a name, but at least that's what I remember being called from the Dark Knight Returns. It's kind of like a gun. It's got the square rectangle front. You can see the trigger at the bottom. It's made with dark and light grays. Kind of a basic, soft sculpt, but it gets the job done. Here it is, next to a couple of Mattel versions of the Disruptor. Here he is holding the Disruptor. Now let's look at his Batarang. It's pretty big. It's in the traditional Batarang shape. My first thought when seeing this green Batarang was a Kryptonite Batarang, but I don't believe he actually fought Superman in the New Adventures Continue armored suit. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to throw his Batarang. Now let's look at his blast effect. This is some energy that's going to be coming out of his glove, very similar to Iron Man, made with a light green, but it's got some dark green across the base here, allowing it to pop and giving it some depth. Here's a blast effect coming out of his hand. I think they did a great job executing this. Comes out very nice. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to top, he's sitting at about 7.2 inches tall, which is going to translate to a hair over 18 centimeters. Now let's look at his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He goes up and down just the tiniest bit there. He can tilt his head even less than that. Shoulders on a ball joint, it can go out more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a bicep cut below that. Single jointed elbow, done kind of unique. You can go up and down, but it also has a ball joint as well as a peg inside of there, so you can move it around, giving it a pretty good range of motion. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got a large waist swivel in the middle here, can rotate from side to side. Legs are on ball joints, they can go out about this far. Forward, not too much, and back just a little bit. He's got single jointed knees. They really don't do too much, up and down like so, and they can rotate. Then his ankle here goes up and down. It can tilt and rock pretty nice. Here's Bruce Wayne doing some research in the Batcave on the Batcomputer. He's trying to figure out where Lex Luthor is. Meanwhile, Alfred's serving him some tea. And once Bruce Wayne has figured out what Lex Luthor is up to, he decides to take the armored batsuit. Alfred dusts it off first. And here's Batman fighting Lex Luthor, both of them in their armored suits. Batman knew there was a reason he took his armored suit out today. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other DC Direct or DC Collectibles, Batman The Adventures Continue figures. This Super Armored Batman here is from Series 2. Here he is next to Series 1 of Batman The Adventures Continue figures. And here's Series 2. Now with DC Direct sort of closing its door on making action figures, rest in peace DC Direct, I do miss you guys. We're never going to get Series 3, 4, or anything after that. Series 4 and Show were both shown to us. Series 4 was supposed to be the New Adventures Batman, a Vampire Batman, Catwoman with an unmasked Selena Kyle head, and the Batman Who Laughs. And then Series 4 was going to be Flashpoint Batman, Tim Drake Robin, Barbara Gordon Batgirl, and Talon. I would have happily bought those figures. Here are all the different Bat villains DC Direct made from Batman the Animated Series. They made all the main ones, but for my collection to be fully complete, I would like to have Hugo Strange, Lockup, Red Claw, the Clock King, Rupert Thorne, and Maxie Zeus. And here are all the Bat villains that DC Direct has made from the new Batman Adventures. Now let's check them out next to some various armored Batman figures. This armored Batman is completely inspired from The Dark Knight Returns. Here are 3 different Mattel armored Batmans from The Dark Knight Returns. And in the movie Batman vs. Superman, his armored suit was heavily inspired from The Dark Knight Returns as well. Here he is next to a whole bunch of different 6 and 7 inch armored Batman from Batman vs. Superman. Here he is next to Batman in his armored Thrasher suit, and Batman as Justice Buster. Then in his armored suit from Batman vs. Predator. And here's the armored Batman from Arkham Asylum, although he's barely even armored compared to the other guys. And all of the Injustice Batman figures are pretty armored. And although it's not Bruce Wayne, here he is next to a couple of Jim Gordon and Batman armored figures. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is with some of his DC Direct brothers. And here he is next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then next to some McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. And here he is next to some NECA figures. Then next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. Then next to some Mafex figures. Then next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a really cool figure. I really like these big, bulky, deluxe, oversized figures. I really like armored Batman figures. I also really like Batman the Animated Series, so it's a home run in a lot of ways. The accessories are pretty cool. The Batarang, the Disruptor, the Bruce Wayne head, all very nice. His articulation, could be a little better. His aesthetic, it's definitely animated, and it's supposed to be, so it's not going to fit in with some of your real-world stuff. Overall, to rate this guy, I'd give him an 8 out of 10. I am really enjoying this figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.